before you guys start, I would like to talk about why Alex Mack was such a huge signing. I think that there's two things that people need to look at. First, the importance of the center in this offense. We've talked about it. There's a reason the Niners extended Daniel Kilgore, and then when they realized Weston Richburg came on the market, they said, Daniel Kilgore, screw you. We'll just send you to Miami for a 5th-round pick, whatever, and we want to get this guy in Weston Richburg because, one, the center position in this offense, it takes a lot in terms of mentally. That center has to be very smart because a lot of the line calls are made by him. On other offenses, the quarterback identifies the mic. In this offense, the center identifies the mic and slides protection based on the mic. The second thing is the center in this offense just has a lot on him in terms of how athletic he needs to be, how good he needs to be in pass protection. Alex Mack fills all of those things. And I think the third thing that Alex Mack brings that nobody is talking about is leadership. We're talking about the consummate professional. We're talking about class personified. Jason, how many times this season did we hear how the Niners are missing Joe Staley's leadership? The Niners are missing Joe Staley's leadership. I had random people on Twitter telling me that Trent Williams isn't good because he isn't the leader Joe Staley was. I'm like, how is he supposed to be that leader? He's been here for a year. He didn't play last year. I think that leadership conversation should be gone. You bring in Alex Mack, Trent Williams is in year 2. His contract is taken care of. The Niners have taken care of two big things in terms of leadership and in terms of a need, in terms of positional need. I thought this was just a fantastic signing. And I think if people are looking for a comparison, in 2017, when McVay took the Rams job, he signed two players that really changed their offense. He signed John Sullivan, Hall of Fame type center, and he signed Andrew Whitworth. And those 2 years that John Sullivan was there, their offensive line with Roger Saffold, John Sullivan, Whitworth, they were dominant. They were fantastic. And Jared Goff played good ball. Just like that, getting Alex Mack at 35, you get 2 great years out of a Hall of Fame center. I think this was maybe the best signing of the offseason for the 49ers.
It was almost the worst kept secret in football that he was going to be a 49er as well, too. You know, Shanahan fit. Everybody assumed, you know, at the end of his career, things like that. But I agree with you, Vish, man. Like, you know, so much of what plagued the offensive line was communication errors and not sliding to the protections. And, you know, say what you want about Weston Richburg and, you know, whatever you think of the contract and him, you know, I guess not playing as many games as you would have liked. When he's rolling and he's there, that offense is different. And I'm not talking about different because the plays are schemed. I'm talking about the way they run the ball, the way they do everything. There's a little bit different, and you can see the difference. Like, no shots at Ben Garland. Ben Garland did a bang-up job. And I'm not taking shots at Daniel Brunskill either, because just because Daniel Brunskill can play all over the line doesn't mean that you should play him all over the line. And that's been my thing, you know, with that. So now he gets to slide at right guard and stay there and improve. And now you've got a guy who is plug and play immediately. And it's not like you just did this out of charity. The guy can still play very well. You know, PFF grade be damned, because, you know, when you start to look back, you know, I don't know how he's getting those grades. I really don't, honestly, on some of those. But that's neither here nor there. The thing is if you're what the Alex Mack and Trent Williams signing shows to me is that this organization still is building their roster the way that they've always built it, which is in the trenches. And that's offensive line and that's pass rush and things like that. And they're still committed to that. And that's, you know, whether you like that or not, whether, you know, whatever, that's up to you. But they're being consistent. They're being very consistent with the way that they want to do things. And they understand that a center in this offense is paramount. I love the deal, honestly. That getting Trent and Alex Mack improves this line immensely. And I don't think that should be understated.
Blake, you know the importance of having a great center for this particular scheme. You had the best center in football for the team you cheer for this year, and you saw a lot of offensive line turmoil in terms of Bakhtiari coming out, different guys moving around, and your offensive line consistently played great until the NFC Championship. Talk to me about this deal.
Yeah, so like you guys have said, really good. He's like a pro's pro, I guess would be the term. He has the Shanahan connection. You didn't have Richburg all of last year, and now you get in a guy who's above average at the position. That's huge. But I think the bigger idea from these signings is that the Niners are kind of going all in right now. Maybe not as hard as like other teams are, but I think there is sort of a win now mentality with paying Williams, paying Mack. These guys are older. These guys aren't going to be here for 5 to 7 years. This is more of a short-term type of thought process when signing guys of their age and skill level. And I think it's a solid idea. Just with the team they have right now, they have a lot of talent. They lost more people to COVID or IR than I'd say probably 90% of the other teams in the league. So I like this Mack signing. And yeah, to your point, I've seen Treader. I've seen Saturday a couple years, Corey Linsley. Center play has been huge in Green Bay, and now the Niners and the Packers have the same offensive scheme. And so I think you'll see how important center is in that sense with just running the offense in general.
Exactly. Jason, you have anything to add?
No, I don't, honestly. I'm just happy that, whoever the quarterback is going to see a better line than last year. We should see less of the communication, errors and things like that. So yeah, everything's going to, the offensive line thing is so nuanced, the discussion.
Right.
Because sometimes it's the quarterback, sometimes it's the line. You have to be able to distinguish which is which, because it's like, oh, he blew that block. Well, ball should have came out a long time ago. You can't expect somebody 2.5, 2.7 seconds to block. That's not how this works. So quarterbacks got to do their job, and the line, does it have to improve? Yes. Will it? Yes. But also it's twofold when it comes to evaluating offensive lines when you're talking about it, especially if you know the concept down the field and things like that.
So here's something I wanted to say kind of just to wrap it up, and why the three of us clearly, we're all emphatically pointing out that this was a fantastic signing for the 49ers. And I think it should be emphatically pointed out for one more reason. So one of the things that the Niners have pointed out, and they constantly kept telling you this was right in front of you. They kept saying, we kept seeing different fronts this year. We weren't seeing the fronts we were seeing from defenses constantly, and those fronts were confusing us. The line was telling you that they had communication problems. There's a reason Hronis Grasu did not see the field after that Seattle game, because the offensive line was basically a mess. Like, you had one side doing one thing and the other side doing one thing. And he also had a horrible game blocking in that game. And so because of that, there's so much mentally on this center. And so, yeah, okay, I know a lot of Niners fans think Mike McGlinchey just sucks. And as long as he's on this offensive line, it's going to suck. I guarantee it right now that Mike McGlinchey is going to play, one, if he gets his weight up another 10 pounds, and two, which I expect him to do, and two, if with Alex Mack playing, and if the Niners can get continuity, which means a training camp of the same offensive line, and then a season, at least 4 or 5 games together of the same offensive line. Offensive line play is all about continuity. I guarantee you this Alex Mack play, you will see a way better Mike McGlinchey. The right guard play, even if it's Brunskill or McKivitz, it'll be good. And the Niners offensive line, it might not be the Hogs from the Washington football team all those years ago. It might not be the 90s Dallas Cowboys, but it's going to be a damn good offensive line, both run blocking and pass protection.